Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about the processes of filtration. And this video will be about how the filter uses different processes to purify water, that is to get rid of the organic or other impurities. Now let's look into what are the steps that they take and what are those different processes. That's what I meant. What are the different processes? How we'll be learning about is theory of filtration. So these are the processes. First one is mechanical straining. Second one is flocculation and sedimentation. Second is biological metabolism. Third is electrolytic changes. Now let's look each of it in detail. Okay, first one is mechanical straining. This process involves the suspended particles that are present in water, which are larger than the voids of the sand layers. That is the small little holes. They're like somewhat almost just it's like a tiny dot or just a small little circle to the human eye. So any particle size greater than that will be understood as a suspended particles, and those particles cannot pass through the sand, and hence they will settle there, and the water will pass through the sand. That is, it will be free from the organic impurities, and these particles act as a mat because they settle down on top of the upper sand layers. They act as some kind of mat will help, which increases the rate of straining out of impurities. So that was the mechanical straining. Now let's look into the next process, that is flocculation and sedimentation. Now in this process there are particles and impurities that are lesser or somewhat equal to the size of the voids of the sand layers. So how do we clear them out? The thing is, here the voids acts as a sedimentation tank. Now what is sedimentation? Sedimentation means it's the tendency to get rid of the settled out particles. That is our So here the particles are lesser than the voids of the sand layers. So to get them out, what they would do is that these colloidal particles or suspended particles act as a gelatinous matter which attracts finer particles. That is those lesser than the voids of the sand layers, the size. Those lesser than the voids of the sand layers, they can, at least this colloidal matter present near the voids can attract these finer particles, hence clearing out these from the water passing through the filter. So this was about flocculation and sedimentation. So we'll be looking into the next process now, biological mechanism. Here there are certain types of microorganisms and bacteria present in the voids of the filters, that is on the sands. So they may initially reside on the sand grains. So what they do is that for their survival they need to feed on food like organic organic impurities like algae and plankton. It's like food to them. So for survival they need that. So what they do is that, I think you got the idea, since they find all the organic impurities like algae and plankton as food, they have to eat it up. What's going to happen is that when they utilize such organic impurities, they convert them into harmless compounds by the process of biological metabolism. It's actually biological metabolism. I had typed a mechanism by mistake. I'm sorry, biological metabolism. And such harmless compounds they form a layer on the top, and they are called as deck. I know it's hard to pronounce, but usually we'll be knowing it as dirty skin. That's the other name. I think that's more easier to know and to pronounce. So the dirty skin will be formed on the top of the layer, and this layer helps in absorbing and straining out this about the impurities. So that was biological metabolism, or that is it involves organic or other microorganisms or bacteria that feeds on organic impurities. Next is electrolytic changes. That is the last process. Here they think that the filter helps in purifying the water by changing the chemical characteristics because the sand grains and the impurities are electrical in nature. They carry electrical charges. So that will be basically they're talking about the theory of ionization here. So when these sand grains are positively charged, by the way, positively charged particles come in contact with the impurities, they neutralize each other, and when they neutralize each other, it changes the character of the water, making it purer. Yeah, after a certain time, the electrical charges of sand, they get exhausted. So we have to restore it. We clean the filter. So that was electrolytic changes. So these are the 4 processes that we've seen today in this video. I hope you understood how the filtration processing is actually done. So that's all for today. Thank you.